Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Your Soul Essentials. Today we are diving deep into the Gene Key 22, one of the most profound and transformative gene keys. If you ever struggled with emotional pain, deep suffering, or feelings of powerlessness, then this episode is for you. The Gene Key 22 carries the journey from suffering to grace. It teaches us how to transmute emotional wounds into spiritual gifts and ultimately embrace divine grace as our natural state. In this episode, we will explore how Gene Key 22 connects with astrology, how it's linked to fixed stars, and how some essential oils can support this energy, and mantras that help you embody its highest expression. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin. What is Gene Key 22? This Gene Key 22 is known as the Key of Grace and moves through 3 levels of frequency. There is a level of shadow, and in this key it means suffering. The cycle of emotional pain, victimhood, and karmic patterns. This is where we feel trapped by our past and disconnected from our divine nature. There is a level of frequency called as gift. It is graciousness, the ability to meet life's difficulties with a compassionate heart. Instead of resisting suffering, we learn to open to it and transform it into wisdom. And there is another frequency, it's called Siddhi, and it is grace, a divine state of complete surrender and unconditional love. Here, suffering dissolves, and we embody the purity of our soul's highest truth. This Gene Key 22 reminds us that suffering is not a punishment, but a gateway to profound transformation. When we stop resisting our pain and meet it with love, we activate our inner grace. There is also an astrological connection with the Gene Key 22 and how it manifests in different planets. The Gene Key 22 aligns with 24 till 30 degrees in Pisces. It is the last degree of the zodiac, symbolizing completion, deep emotional wisdom, and spiritual surrender. Now let's explore how this gene key influences different planetary placements. The Sun in Gene Key 22. The Sun stands for identity and purpose. Your life purpose involves transmuting suffering into wisdom. You shine when you embody grace, compassion, and emotional depth. The Moon in Gene Key 22. As we know, the Moon stands for emotions and subconscious. Your emotional world is deeply sensitive. You may experience intense emotional highs and lows, but your gift is in learning to embrace emotions with kindness rather than suppressing them. Mercury in Gene Key 22. Mercury is all about mind and communication. Your words have the power to heal. You may struggle with self-doubt in communication, but when you speak from a place of grace, you uplift others with deep emotional truth. A placement of Venus in Gene Key 22. Venus is all about love and relationships. Relationships are your greatest teachers. You may attract karmic connections that challenge you, but they ultimately push you to embody unconditional love. A placement of Mars in Gene Key 22. Mars is all about drive and action. Your actions are driven by deep emotional passion. Learning to balance intensity with patience allows you to lead with heart rather than reacting from pain. A placement of Jupiter in Gene Key 22. We know that Jupiter is all about expansion and wisdom. Your spiritual growth comes through experiences of grace and surrender. Trusting life's flow will open doors to profound blessings. A placement of Saturn in Gene Key 22. We know that Saturn is all about discipline and lessons. Life teaches you patience through emotional challenges. Once you master grace, you become a beacon of resilience for others. A placement of Uranus in Gene Key 22. We know that Uranus is innovation and awakening. Your awakening process is catalyzed by emotional transformation. Unexpected events may shake your world, but they serve as a spiritual initiations. A placement of Neptune in the Gene Key 22. We know that Neptune is spirituality and mysticism. This is a highly mystical placement, allowing you to embody divine love. You have a natural connection to other realms, and you can channel higher wisdom. A placement of Pluto in the Gene Key 22. And we know that Pluto is all about transformation and power. Your journey is one of deep soul alchemy. You are here to dissolve suffering at its core and rebirth yourself into a state of grace. Now let's take a look into the Pisces influence because of the 24 till 30 degrees in Pisces. Being the last degrees of the zodiac, this placement carries themes of closure, surrender, and divine acceptance. It invites us to trust the flow of life and recognize that every experience, even suffering, has a higher purpose. There are also a number of fixed stars who have an influence on the Gene Key 22. This Gene Key 22 is closely linked to a few powerful fixed stars that enhance this energy, and I picked 2 fixed stars in the Pegasus constellation. The first one is the star Shiat on 29 degrees in Pisces. Known as a star of both misfortune and enlightenment, the star Shiat represents the duality of suffering and grace. If you learn to rise above difficulties, this star grants profound wisdom and spiritual depth. And another star in the Pegasus constellation is the star Markup on 23 degrees in Pisces. It is slightly outside but also very relevant. Markup is a star of emotional resilience and deep introspection. It provides strength in times of suffering and the ability to access divine knowledge. These stars remind us that pain is not the end of the journey, but rather it is the passage into deeper grace and wisdom. And as always, I'd like to work with essential oils, and in this case, there are some essential oils you can use to support the Gene Key 22 energy. During deep emotional processing, certain essential oils can help bring soothing, heart-centered energy and spiritual surrender. Let us take a look at some essential oils. There is the rose oil. This is the oil of divine love, opening the heart to compassion and grace. You can also use the oil sandalwood. This oil supports deep meditation, inner peace, and surrender to higher wisdom. You can also use the oil lavender. Calms emotional turbulence and helps integrate difficult experiences. There is the oil frankincense. This oil enhances spiritual connection and provides comfort in times of suffering. And last but not least, there is the oil ylang ylang. This oil encourages emotional release and heart healing, perfect for working through karmic relationships. And how do you use these oils? Apply over the heart center to encourage emotional healing, or diffuse a few drops from these oils during meditation or prayer to invite divine grace, or you can use it in bath to cleanse emotional burdens and restore peace. Of course, when you want to work with the Gene Key 22 energy, there are some mantras. To embody this energy of grace and divine surrender, you can use the following affirmations. I welcome grace into my life and release all resistance. Or, my suffering is a doorway to my highest wisdom. Or, I trust that every experience serves my soul's evolution. Or another one, through love and compassion, I transform all pain into grace. You can repeat these mantras in meditation, journaling, or whenever you need emotional support. I do have some final thoughts on this Gene Key 22. This Gene Key 22 is a reminder that we are never truly alone in our suffering. Every challenge we face carries the seed of grace waiting to bloom when we open our hearts to it. If you are in a difficult emotional period, know that your pain is not in vain. There is beauty and purpose hidden within. And when you embrace it with love, you awaken to your highest self. I hope this episode has given you new insights into how Gene Key 22, astrology, fixed stars, and essential oils can support you on your journey. If you felt resonance with today's message, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and connect with me on www.onderthezon.net or on my other social medias. Until next time, and may you walk in grace and light. Thank you. Until the next time. Bye.